pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I do want to say that Dawn emailed just before noon to let us know that she would not be present. We will move right into recognition.
Good evening, everybody. So we are going to recognize some new hires to our team and try to give you an opportunity as a board to put a face to the name. We did have a very busy late spring and summer looking for some new teammates, and feel very fortunate that we have a great group joining us this school year. Not everyone was able to make it. They do send their thanks and best wishes to the board and look forward to working alongside of us during the school year. I'll just run through the list quickly. For art at the elementary school, we brought on Genevieve Roy. Special education at the elementary school, Danielle Tenencio. Jennifer Lucier is our new second grade teacher. Michelle Battles is biology at the high school. Connor Hill is here. About a future quarterback.
We heard this child might be at the school frequently.
Yes.
We like that.
Yes.
And maybe by the time he gets to high school age, we can have our own football team. Who knows? Maddie Crawford is here. Maddie is teaching special education at the middle school and is a proud graduate of Lyman. Kevin Hayden is tech ed at the middle school. Katrina Kono is teaching kindergarten at the elementary school. And we just had Caitlin Samuelson have her first day yesterday in 8th grade science. So I know the beginning of the year is extremely busy time, but you mean a lot to us as part of our team, and the board is appreciative of your early efforts and looks forward to working with you. We just wanted to give them an opportunity to say welcome, and hope you have a great school year.
Yes, thank you.
All right, moving on with recognition. Our Teachers of the Year and Parent Educators of the Year, we try as best we can to make a pretty big deal about this in the spring. The celebrations kind of continue through convocation, and then they somewhat wrap up here with you all. So today we have Teachers of the Year, Ms. Gamache from the elementary school, and Lisa was the District Teacher of the Year as well. Andrews cannot make it today, but he is the Teacher of the Year at the middle school, and Katie Ricard is here, and she's the Teacher of the Year at the high school. And moving on to Paraeducators of the Year, we do have one with us tonight. Candy O'Hearn represents the high school and the district as our Paraeducator of the Year. So thank you so much for being here. We have one more small token of our appreciation, a nice plant for you all. Pass that along.
I was able to attend convocation, and Ms. Gamache gave a beautiful speech.
Really?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Lisa loves getting up there in front of everybody.
Oh, I love these.
All right, and the last recognition is something that we had planned to do at the August meeting. We did not get a chance to do it publicly, so I wanted to take some time. The coaches did put together some really nice write-ups for spring of last school year all-state athletes. 2 of them are in college, so they are gone, and one of them just had a cross-country meet earlier today, so I think she's probably recharging and maybe having a nice meal, doing some homework and whatnot. So none of them are here, but I wanted to take a few minutes to read the write-ups if that's okay with you. So this is for Nicholas Shalafu. It says, "Good evening, members of the Board of Education, and a warm welcome to everyone in attendance. It's my great pleasure and privilege tonight to recognize one of our exceptional student athletes, someone who embodies the very best of our school and athletic program. Tonight we celebrate Nick, a 4-year varsity baseball starter who has recently earned the distinguished title of Connecticut Class S All-State. This is a tremendous honor, and it's a testament to his skill and dedication on the field. This past season as a co-captain, Nick led by example, building on his previous accomplishments of being named honorable mention ECC in his junior year and first team ECC this year. However, the awards and accolades are only part of Nick's story. What truly sets him apart is his unwavering commitment. We often hear about dedication, but Nick has demonstrated it in and out of the program, making sacrifices to improve his game. He has committed to summer and fall Legion baseball, balancing this with a demanding fall sport and always prioritizing his growth as a player. This old school work ethic and commitment to our school and overall athletic program is rare and something to be truly admired. He has exemplified loyalty, thinking beyond himself to consider the organization as a whole. This loyalty extends to how he gives back. As a young boy, Nick attended our baseball camps. He then began working them as a young man, becoming one of our main counselors. He's built a strong bond with our staff and serves as a positive role model for the next generation of players. Perhaps one of the most valuable lessons Nick has shown us is his ability to recover from failure. This is not just a baseball skill, but a vital life skill that he will carry with him in college and beyond. It is an example that all of our athletes can learn from and one that makes us incredibly proud to have him as part of our program. That was from Coach Gomez. We also have Laura Lynn Boyer. It's an absolute honor to recognize Laura Lynn, a 4-year member of our outdoor track and field team and now a state champion pole vaulter. I've had the privilege of coaching Laura Lynn throughout her high school career and watching her growth, both as an athlete and as a person. And it's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my time at Lyman. Pole vault is a brutally demanding event. It comes with constant setbacks, missed attempts, frustrating days, and yes, painful falls. Many athletes shy away from those challenges. Laura Lynn leaned into them. She embraced the grind, trusted the process, and never let fear or failure dictate her limits. Every bar she cleared this season was earned through resilience, consistency, and unshakable belief in herself. Laura Lynn's name will now hang on our championship banner and will forever be remembered as an all-state athlete and a state champion. But more than that, she leaves a legacy of integrity, determination, and class. Her journey in pole vaulting isn't over. She'll continue chasing new heights at Wisconsin River Falls. I have no doubt she'll continue to shine. Congrats, champ, from Coach Strout, Coach Chantel, and Doc. Last but not least, Hazel DeLucia. Proud to recognize her as an exceptional student athlete and her outstanding accomplishments during the spring track season. As a junior, Hazel earned all-state recognition with an impressive total of 20 points across 3 highly competitive events. In the 4x800 meter relay, Hazel anchored her team to a strong 4th place finish and then delivered back-to-back silver medal performances in the 1600 meters and 3200 meter individual races. These achievements speak not only to her physical talent, but to her relentless work ethic and competitive spirit. Of course, behind every successful athlete is a strong foundation of support, and Hazel is no exception. Coaches go on to celebrate Stephanie and Tim, her parents, along with her young brother Tanner, who are behind her every step of the way. They also had her uncle, who's been supporting, was at her cross-country meet today. So we'd like to congratulate Hazel on being all-state athlete and a true model of perseverance, dedication, and excellence in our track community. Again, from Coach Strout, Coach Fields, and Coach Gray. That is it for recognition.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And as we all know, fall sports are well underway. As we pulled in earlier. Look forward to hearing about fall athletics. Moving on to communications, letter of resignation.
Yeah, so we do have one letter of resignation from Roberto Ortiz, who had served as 8th grade science teacher. We received his formal notification on Wednesday, August 20th. It was a bittersweet moment for him. He feels that the LMS community was a very special place, and they carried and lifted him through the transition to a new school, he says, with open arms and great professionalism. His move was to be closer to home and to have a more stable work-life balance. And as I shared with you, although the timing was not ideal, we supported him in his transition, and we were able to find a replacement to step in as of yesterday.
Thank you. We'll move on to public participation. In accordance with bylaw 9011, we invite public participation. We have allotted a total of 30 minutes. Each community member is allowed 2 minutes. Is there any member of the community who would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, we will move along to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion that we approve said consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Nicole. Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous. Student representatives report.
So, Lyman's sport clearances were August 12th at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m., August 13th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., and August 18th, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Orientation was on the 21st, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., where participants were able to tour the school, play games, get to know each other, eat lunch, get to know their teachers, get to know some of their nurses, office. Lyman's ad drop forms were changed to 6 days instead of 10 days, I believe, and a lot of people had a lot of comments about scheduling, so that will be what we're talking about next meeting. Lyman's picture day was today, and then seniors picture day is tomorrow. Class officers will be deciding homecoming's theme this Friday for Xbox start, and open house is tomorrow night for 4:30 to 6:30.
For the ag portion of the freshman orientation, freshmen were taking it around the ag wing. We had 2 officers that were in the barn, and the rest of the officer team was doing tours. We asked each group if they had students who knew they were going to be in ag, and we passed them out packets that basically went over what ag is, what FFA is, who the officers are, who the teachers are, what CDEs are, and so CDEs are career development events, LEDs, and etc. And everyone got to meet their teachers. The teachers kind of went over what they're teaching, and we went over what classes students are going to be in, and explained to them that with the freshmen and sophomores, it's really just exploring, and that with the juniors and seniors, that's more where they get to pick what they really want to do. And then at the end of that, we served out ice cream to all freshmen. We have some upcoming events like the FFA Big E, which is actually the 19th, which is for all FFA grades. Students have to pay $35 to go, which is included in the packet that was handed out for their FFA dues. The Welcome Back picnic is actually tomorrow before the student orientation.
The open house.
Open house, thank you, sorry. Where all students in FFA are welcome to come and play games. They get to eat ice cream. It's really just to get all of the FFA students involved together. And then lastly, for upcoming events was Colt. This was in August for all our FFA officers, which I went to too. It basically is just where the state officers teach each officer what their position is and how they can fulfill their duties, because that was an issue we had last year, and it's something we go to every year, but it was really big on this year. And then for our October meeting, me and Cassidy are going to be creating a Google form basically asking students about their schedules and how they're liking school so far.
And that's all we have for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Comments? We're so happy that you're here.
Nice one.
Yes, and we really, maybe I can't speak for the whole board, but enjoy the junior-senior relationship that has been created. I know that the board has talked about a survey, an entry, beginning of the year, end of year, and I know that you've been
Yeah, we
discussing
talked
that,
briefly, and that was something that we agreed that is better to do in October as they're just transitioning back from the summer. So that's something we'll work together with the leadership team to have that ready for you next month.
Wonderful. Any questions or comments?
Thank
Any
you.
questions or comments for us?
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you, girls.
We'll move on to reports of committees. Brian, policy.
Policy was reported out at our last subcommittee, at our special meeting that we had. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 second readings that we'll be voting on tonight for action items.
Any questions regarding policy? Seeing none, we Move on. Danelle, strategic plan curriculum.
So tonight we talked about our class sizes, our had some course updates, and PD, professional development updates from the summer. Maybe highlight something, because it's a short but full meeting as usual. At the high school level, for a course update, because some people are curious, what courses are not running that we offer, and these are mostly, I guess you would say they're the newer courses that we're not running, CNA and drones, the ECE chemistry, ECE environmental science, UCE kinesiology, and AP chem. But there are 7 classes that are running, some of them running for the first time and some haven't run in years. And those are sports literature, that's a new one. AP bio, that's for the first time. Journalism is back. Intro to manufacturing, science of engineering, math for machines, and first time for math.
That was the first. Yeah, it was the first time for that class.
First time for that one. So, look forward to reading my minutes, my report, full report.
Any questions for strategic plan curriculum? Okay, move on. Rachel, finance.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Sarah, superintendent evaluation.
No report.
Okay. Dawn is not here. Alexis, negotiations.
Negotiations, we met last week, our first session with the teachers union. It was long, 3 hours. It was productive. We have our next meeting on the 16th and hope to keep things moving. Yeah.
Sweet. Any questions? Not much they can say. So. Sherry, climate, culture, and enrollment.
No report.
Nicole, facilities.
Okay, so facilities met on August 22nd. It was a walkthrough. We began at Lyman, went to the middle school, and then ended at the elementary school. It occurred at 2 p.m. So basically, a few things were done over the summer. 4 classrooms were painted at LMS, and then 2 classrooms were painted in LES, and then 4 of the bathrooms were painted at LES. And some cove baseboards were repaired at LMS. Basically, John and his team did a really nice job with that. There are a lot of items still on this list, and that is due to the fact that these are capital projects that need a lot of funding, which is what we don't have. So some examples are in the auditorium at Lyman, seats and rugs need to be replaced. In the gym, replacing bleachers, men's locker room, women's locker room. The cafeteria, we were thinking of looking into some new seating, but that's also a costly item. And there's a whole list of things that are just too expensive to even touch on right now. At the middle school, we have removing showers in the girls' locker room have been on that list for 3 years now. It's just a very costly item. And then also we were talking about replacing some of the furniture at LMS because it is outdated, and fixing some of the sidewalk cracks out there too. So again, these are some very costly things that unless we get an influx of money, they're probably going to remain on this list. And that's it.
Any questions for facilities?
I'm not sure if you can answer that. Are any of those projects things that would be absolutely addressed by the long-term townwide, what do you call it?
The school study
School
renovations.
study, thank you, yes.
Well, there's 2 different committees actually, a long-term planning and a school building committee. So are you asking?
So would those, either one of them, would those be sent over to those committees to be addressed? Or is that something that sits here and we just wait for funding to come here, the normal channels?
I would hope that several of the projects that Nicole listed would be addressed through the school study renovations. But we are in this kind of no man's land. Is do we do nothing while we wait for this potential project? Or do we try to continue to do the necessary upgrades in our schools? So, but then we juggle how much money do we get year over year for facilities capital, and some of these projects would take up a whole year's worth of facilities capital. So that's why they keep kind of getting pushed off, because we have other smaller projects that need to be done, and the bigger projects are just
Too big.
kicked down the road a little bit.
Okay.
that clarifies it a little bit. I'd also say we wanna make sure those things were covered in those studies, so that they can be addressed.
Right, but one example is like bathrooms, so that's just health safety. And so how long do we wait for that to potentially come versus needing to address it because it's a health concern?
The, something like restrooms is a little bit easier, so to speak, because that is included or would be included in the school building project. Because once they start tearing into these buildings, then, you know, there's a restroom at the middle school, right across from the library that is extremely tiny and is not ADA compliant, for example. So those things, it's not a choice. Those have to be updated at that point in time. The only thing I would urge is in consultation with the long-term planning within the town, is that we try to continue to eat away at these things that either won't be, you know, aren't as easily identifiable as like restrooms or roofs or HVACs, stuff like that. So maybe a priority list of what, you know, we should be bringing forth to the town and try to chip away at it like that. I know that obviously the track is out there and we're still waiting for that, so that's a huge one that's still pending. But maybe, you know, the rest of them can be prioritized for the next item on the list to be.
Sarah?
I think to all of your points, I think you're all saying the same thing, and it all kind of, sorry this is coming out in your report, but I do think it should bring us all together and understand that this needs to be done sooner rather than later, like pushing forward with that building committee, making progress, not just sitting on it, and like having a very firm timeline that we all kind of hold ourselves to. I think that's what would address all of the concerns, right? Because we would know, okay, that this building's gonna be started in 2027, you know, so can we last 2 more years? We don't know that yet, so
Right.
I think kind of finding what those details are and hashing that out
Working on it.
sooner rather than later.
Any other questions for facilities? Okay. Governance. So September 11th is the long-term planning committee. That I've shared before, that subcommittee is comprised of members of the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. The Board of Education was asked, in other departments in the town, not just the Board of Education, but they were asked to give information. They were now invited to the meeting on September 11th. So Andy will be presenting. He's been given up to 15 minutes to present, and I hope that as many of you can attend as possible. Listen to that. On September 16th is the joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and Board of Education to discuss the upcoming budget season. And again, I hope you all can attend. There is a conflict, so some board members and Andy will not be present, but as I shared in email that I've already been working with Andy to get questions, clarification, anything that I need to ask of that group. The school study committee, subcommittee, that was comprised of, comprised of members of the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and Board of Education, as far as I understand, has been sunsetted. As you all might know, the town voted and approved the building committee, as we were just talking about. Letters of interest to serve on that that building committee are being collected by the first selectman, and we look forward to learning more information. I didn't see a deadline for that, so I need to.
I do have an update on that.
Okay.
So the committee needed to be, or the committee that was brought before the town was for 7 members, and the first selectman's office has received enough, as of today, enough applicants in order to fulfill that obligation of 7 members. So it was thought that they'll be moving forward with bringing those names at the first Board of Selectmen meeting in October.
That has not been communicated to me as board chair.
I just,
so
I asked,
FYI.
no, I asked tonight because I figured for an update, so.
Appreciate that.
Can I ask a question about
Yeah.
that? How does the Board of Selectmen select people to be on the building committee? Is there a variety of different,
It's in the charter,
okay,
yeah.
so it's not just all like
Nope.
math teachers?
It is not expressly explained in the charter.
No,
In the meeting, or at least in conversations that I've had, they're trying to make sure that that there is representation from the Board of Education, from the Board of Finance, town members, a balance of party representation,
Yep.
subject matter experts, so they're definitely looking at,
Are there
the
any
big
teachers on this building
I
committee?
could not tell you that, I don't
Don't
even
know
know
who
who's
applied.
applied.
I think that's really important, because
Well,
they're the
it's-
ones in the schools.
Yep. So. When I find out more information, which may
That
not
I
come
don't know.
directly to me, I will definitely share. Finally, I want to share with everybody that the governance committee is aware of accusations of conduct from a board member against me as board chair. Brian, as vice chair, has been asked to review the matter. The accusations were received via email on Friday, October 22nd at 5:01 p.m. And like I said, Brian is reviewing the allegations to determine appropriate course of action. Any questions for governance?
I think you said October, I think you meant August.
August, I'm sorry, did I say October? August 22nd. Any questions for governance? Sarah?
So at some point, are we going to be able to understand what those allegations were and discuss that as a board?
Because the accusation's against me, I'm going to turn the floor over to Brian.
so, great question, Sarah. I've been doing my due diligence along with the board's attorney, Richard Mills. We will have an executive session after or as part of our October board meeting. It was too soon for me to get everything that I needed to do in order to go through this, as well as meet with our attorney. So we will have an executive session where the allegations will be laid out, the results of the investigation, and Attorney Mills will join us for our executive session next month.
Does this involve a vote?
Not an executive session.
Okay.
Also, I want to be clear that because I am being accused, I get to decide if it's open session or closed.
Oh.
I have not made that decision yet. For October, anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Seeing that this would have attorney implications, and we all know attorney's fees cost the district significant amount of money.
Yes.
I'm wondering, how do we determine if that is a good use of our
So another great question. There are several routes that this could have taken. And one of the routes could have been, if warranted, an outside investigation where the board would need to hire an attorney outside of Shipman and Goodwin, so another firm.
why is that?
So that, because Shipman is our attorney, and in order to maintain their impartiality and maintain their, basically their standing with the board, they don't investigate, they push it out to another firm. So they would engage another firm on the board's behalf to do this investigation. Those investigations, in my experience, even for the most mundane, are north of $20,000 to start. So it was my judgment call that I went this route, because it was a much cheaper route Yes, it's going to cost the board some money, but it was a much cheaper route than going a different way.
Can I speak again? I want to let everybody else have an opportunity to pipe in, but I'm just wondering if it's even worth a dime. Because
it's a good question. The accusation was serious. I take it serious. This is what, on my, paying job, this is what I do for a living. And it needs to be answered, so that the board can ultimately move forward. So.
I'm just going to express that I don't think it's worth money at this point, investigating or utilizing our attorneys at this point. I don't know the intricacies of whatever this might be, but I do want the board to consider that this is money out of our students' education that we're utilizing this for. So I think we need to seriously think about this and potentially have a further discussion to help Brian make a decision on this, unless I'm overruled.
Question on timelines, seeing that we have elections coming up. So this could take months. So when someone starts it, we're in the process, what happens then?
It won't, I've done most all of the legwork. Rich and I have done most everything. We've got one more short follow-up to do, but the majority of it has been done. It just couldn't get done fast enough for us to do it this month, based on schedules, based on negotiations, things that were already scheduled with the attorneys. So that's why it's for October's meeting. But the majority of all the legwork has already been completed. So.
This is a regular meeting, so we can entertain a motion to amend the agenda. If anybody would like to have further discussion on this topic, potentially decision.
I would just, sorry, go ahead, Rachel.
No, go ahead.
I understand the dollars and cents, believe me. It's not lost on me at all. But I take these accusations extremely seriously. And it was important for me to put this to rest. And it was important for me, and it was important for during attorney-client privilege conversations that I had with the board attorney, that they were there at whatever, open, closed, whatever it is, executive session or not. Now, if the board decides that they want to entertain and add to the agenda and have just me present the findings, I can still go through the conversations. Any conversations, though, that are privileged, I believe would need to be in a closed session. Now we can talk about the issue in open session, certainly, and I can talk about everything I did about that. The attorney-client part of it would stay closed.
Can we do that tonight?
This is a regular session. You can make a motion to amend the agenda if you so choose.
But you can't talk about what you talked about with the attorney.
I can in
Executive
executive session.
Oh, wait, okay, I make a motion to talk about this evening, put this on the agenda. I make a motion to amend the agenda to add this.
So,
As a action item.
No, you wanna go into executive session?
so I can't coach you on what your motion is.
Help me.
Yes.
You can.
Go ahead, you make the motion.
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add an executive session for the purpose of discussing client-attorney privileged information.
I,
Right?
You want executive session?
because according to our bylaws, and I understand that the specific attorney-client privileged information needs to be an executive session, I get to determine. And I am exercising my right for it to be discussed in open session. Not the client, but in general, this discussion will be held in open session.
Can I amend my motion?
It hasn't even been seconded, so.
Okay.
Can I just offer before you do that, you may not need an executive session if you're gonna have this as an agenda item in open session. You may not need the executive. I'm just throwing that out there, so if you wanna.
Before you amend the agenda, if during open session, we decide that we want to move into executive session, would we still be able to add an item to the agenda?
This is a regular meeting,
Yeah.
so we can amend the agenda as many times as we so wish.
Okay.
So the motion
My
is
motion
to,
is to discuss, and then an
Accusations of
accusation made against the
board member
board chair.
Second.
So this requires a 2/3 vote of members present. So there are 8 members, which requires 6 in favor in order to add this. If it passes, and we are only passing the amendment to the agenda, it would go before action items, following finance report, before action items, we would add new business, and this would be the agenda item. So, the motion on the floor is to amend the agenda to add new business to discuss accusation of board member conduct. It has been motioned by Sarah, seconded by Nicole. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous. We will add that action item, or not action item, I'm sorry, new business. Down, sorry.
10A.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions regarding governance? I truly hope that everybody available can make the September 11th and September 16th meeting
Where's the September 11th one?
downstairs at the town hall,
Okay, so we're the
7?
finance.
7 p.m. September 16th, I haven't seen an official, I received an email, which I shared with everybody, but I did not receive I didn't receive the official agenda like I did for September 11th. So once I do, then I'll let you know, because since it's all 3 boards, I'm not quite sure where they'll hold that. Okay, moving on to the administrators' reports. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Is this the first time that they've had all 3 boards meet before the budget season?
This comes because of my request.
Okay.
Yes. The Board of Selectmen has the ability to call meetings, and I asked them specifically so that we could better understand the budget season process. Yes. Administrators' reports.
So, as we have done in the past, this is just a verbal share about the start of the school year, which would piggyback nicely in my back to school. So if, Jess, if you wouldn't mind starting us off at the elementary school, please.
Sounds good. So good evening. I'm really happy to talk about LES this evening. So we had a wonderful start to Lebanon Elementary School for sure. As you know, you have seen in the reports that we have several new staff members. We're able to welcome them and get them acquainted to our school and have some really great orientation, but also everyone has, they've shared with me how welcoming Lebanon Public Schools is, so that's a testament to what we do here for sure. Our teachers are busy reviewing expectations, going over routines, but also making those student connections and those parent connections to those positive phone calls, reaching out, learning more about the learner in their classroom. So that's an important part to the start of the school year too. So I do have some updated numbers too. I'm happy to report this is our 2nd year of the full day or the school day preschool program. We have 16 students in that school day program again this school year. Very successful. last year, and we have 79 total students in preschool as of today, because we have some new registrations.
Still have to save some spots, correct?
We save spots, absolutely. So class sizes are hanging between 15 to 17, saving some spots, definitely for birth to 3. And remember, of course, we have rolling screening throughout the year too. So preschool is full, and we're happy learners there for sure. This is our NIAC application year too. So I am currently working on that application, and that will be submitted before December 1st. So it's a very important year for preschool.
How frequently is that?
So we submit a annual report, and then we're ready to start the application period too. So that's our period right now, and it will be due. Our accreditation goes until June 2026 of this year.
I think it's a 5-year
5 years?
process.
Our teachers are very busy starting off some assessments too, so when we get some of that assessment data, doing that diagnostic, doing the early reading assessments too, we're able to jump right in with some of our early interventions for students as well. This is year 2. We had a big curricular year last year, starting with the new programs. This is year 2, so we're looking to add and enhance our instructional practices with the new curriculums too, really focusing in on using formative assessment data, shared collaborative planning time too, and utilizing effective Tier 2 interventions. So great start to the year, and we're busy. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jess.
Hello.
Hey, Chad.
Everything's off to a good start at LMS. A couple highlights, we're utilizing SmartPass Flex a lot more this year, which is great. It's giving us a lot more clarity about where kids are going during our WIN period. We also used it for our iReady diagnostic testing too. It's been completely synced with our new schedule. We made some changes to our schedule this year, so it's the same general layout after we made big changes last year, but now the 4 core periods rotate over a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 schedule. That way the kids and the teachers for that matter are not seeing each other at the same time every single day. So sometimes they're getting in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. So SmartPass has been a nice little feature to kind of help bring that in. And then once the schedule's in there, it allows anybody at any time to basically, with one keystroke, see where a kid's located. So that's a nice little feature. And then we're also going to use it as, so we've got our, think of it as like home bases for all of our students right now in their WIN periods. But now that we have a home base, now we'll be rolling out the interventions, but we'll also be able to roll out enrichment activities as well. So kids in each grade level team's been asked to come up with some standards that they want their grade level to meet that qualifies students to meet the criteria to be able to do the enrichment activities. Most likely it's going to tie into work completion and things of that nature, and then the SmartPass will allow those kids to basically like open up for them, and they can leave their WIN period, go to an enrichment activity, and self-select over the course of like any day. So they could go to one for a day, they could go to one for a week. So the tracking of where kids are going was really important before we decided to do this sort of thing, and I feel like it's in place. So I'm excited to see how that rolls out in the next couple weeks. We met with CHDI and NAMI yesterday to kick off our peer mentor program. We received another $9,000 grant from CHDI, so we'll be running our peer mentor program once again. Kids have been doing either self-nominations, and teachers have been nominating as well, so we'll be reviewing those at the end of the week and having a school-wide assembly as the kickoff next week. We also got a renewal of our grant with Project Oceanology for the Connecticut River Connections, which is where we partnered up with Inner City School to do marine science studies. So this year we're partnering up with Breakthrough Magnet South School out of Hartford. So we're excited for that relationship to begin. I think our first collaborative field trip is mid-October. We mentioned we have our new staff member, Kat Samuelson, started as 8th grade science teacher today, so we are now fully staffed, which is great. Sports are up and running. All of our fall coaches returned to their positions, so that was a nice refreshing change for the first time since I've been here. iReady Diagnostic is done. We're going to have our first, what we call our MTSS day on Thursday, where we take a deep dive into how our students performed and come up with our intervention groups. And open house is on Thursday. Excited for that. Add a few kind of little tweaks to it. The general format is still the same, but we're hoping to get some attendance at some mini breakout sessions towards the latter half of the open house. Jay and Sue are going to be there from 6:45 to 7 as some lineman representatives to talk to parents of any grade level, but of course particularly our 8th grade parents about the lineman experience. Chris Faber will be there as our AD from 7 to 7:15, helping people get onto final forms and answer any questions about athletics. And then from 7:15 to 7:30, I'll be reviewing some of our climate data from last spring and talking about some of our climate initiatives for this coming year. And that's about it.
Mr. Johnson, while you're transitioning back, quick question.
Did your after-school activities start? Or did clubs just start?
Did clubs start?
Yeah.
I don't think anything, I'm trying to think if anything has already kicked off.
I've seen some communication about show choir. I think show choir met today.
Yes, today was the first day for show
I think this week.
choir. Flyers are up for newspaper club. We have a new advisor for that. And then I think cross country starts tomorrow.
Soccer started last week.
I mean, I think they actually have a meet tomorrow.
The
Getting there, yep.
boys and girls have their first soccer scrimmage on Thursday.
We've had a strong start
We
at
have.
the high school. We love our freshmen.
Yep.
And they are respectful. I mean, this is an amazing group, and we accredit the work that's been going on at the middle school for them. We love them.
We have been, we've been meeting with each class, and those meetings have been going so, they've been so great, and we've come out of them really jazzed for what they can bring to our school. We had such a great meeting with the seniors yesterday, and we kind of had a theme for each of them, and for our seniors, the theme was leadership, and really emphasizing how much of an impact they have on our school. We tried something new this year. All the different grades got T-shirts. The freshmen got a T-shirt at their orientation, new student orientation. It was a white T-shirt because they were doing tie-dyeing, but it had the bulldog on it, and then on the back it said Bulldog Strong. Our sophomores and juniors got gray T-shirts, same Lyman logo, same Bulldog Strong on the back. And our seniors got blue T-shirts that said Leaders of the Pack. And again, it's just emphasizing how much we want them to lead and lead appropriately. And I got to say, we had our first home volleyball game of the year Friday, and the enthusiasm in that game was awesome. And there were new chants that I have not heard before at one of those games. And it was our kids were leading them. They were off in a corner. They were gathered together. Good group, mix of kind of some seniors and juniors. But it was really awesome to see. And then I was watching all the kids that were showing up to the soccer game tonight. So there's a really good feel and vibe around school. I do want to thank John and his staff for getting our school ready and cleaned up and put back together if you see the school in July, you can't believe it looks like it does when you guys went through for your walkthrough. How nice it looks, and I do want to thank, Jacques and, his staff for getting all the, computers and all those, smart boards hooked back up again. If you can get out, this is a huge week for games. It seems like there's something like every single night. We have another home game tomorrow, and then we have another home game on Friday. So, there's just so much going on. Our drama kids are starting up the drama for this fall. It's Clue. Really excited. Can't wait to see that. Tonight, Katie, who was here, took a break to come in because she was doing auditions for her contemporary ensemble, the like garage band kind of thing that they do, and they go out to the senior center and different places. So they were doing auditions tonight to replace some members who have moved on to college. So it's nice seeing that turnover and seeing the new talent that that come out for those things.
We have open house tomorrow. We'll be down the middle school Thursday. Friday, our X block, all of our activities start, so we're really looking forward to that. And all of our sports are up and running, so lots of happenings at our school.
Yeah, the nice thing is we're never alone now. Even at night, for these events, you're not alone anymore. Now there's always, the building is always full, so.
Thank you.
All right, I think that'll take us right into superintendent report.
Oh,
Did you want to share?
you want to first? Okay, so just a lot of my stuff overlaps. The professional development for August, Danelle shared, so I won't go through that. There was a mention of new teachers from Jess, so just wanted to highlight that there were 6 teachers enrolled in the new teacher support for the state. It's a requirement in your first 2 years. It's called TEAM. And so we have 5 teachers in the district from year 1 and 1 teacher in year 2. So next week we'll be having our first meeting where we support. A big thank you to the teachers who serve as mentors for that. They do receive a stipend, but there's still a time-consuming process that they have to meet with those new teachers and support them. One of the things that I brought into district a few years back when I took on this position was also recognizing there are teachers that come into our district that already have years of experience, right? And they do not need to do team because they've already done it in a previous district. So I assign what's called informal mentors to them, and those are just like go-to people in their buildings that they can just ask, some of those questions that they don't want to bother their administrator, or just, it's just an extra person for them to connect with, more about the systems in the school and just kind of questions about faculty or something like that. So there was 6 additional staff members paired with informal mentors as well. So the evaluation process is in year 2, new implementation year 2. Those were the state requirements that legislation indicated we had to change it up. So as of now, every building, every teacher has been reviewed. The guidelines of the new teacher evaluation, our professional development committee that meets monthly will be meeting in 2 weeks again, and we, through the process of last year and some work with a consultant, we had a really effective meetings in regards to any changes. So we just made some slight revisions to the goal setting form, kept it aligned with the state, already submitted that to the state. So just little tweaks to make it a little bit more clear for the teachers and accessible, and it was all feedback by the teachers. So those presentations have been done, and they're going to get going on their goal setting meetings with that. And we already talked about also one of the things that we did over the summer was the local governance partnership with which Hebron and Andover are affiliated with. So I won't go into that. And then some other updates. Our websites, has all been refreshed. That's also part of legislation to make sure that we're transparent with our curriculum to our families. So that's all there. Walkthroughs we're going to be focusing on this year. And we've got one coming up at the elementary school in regards to
iReady magnetic phonics, which is next week, and then in 2 weeks we also have a math one happening at the elementary. And then, as I shared too, in the curriculum subcommittee, we'll do our data presentation in October. Next month, SBAC results were mailed to their families at the elementary, middle, and then high school for the NGSS test. So those were sent out, and those results will be shared to all of you next month. That's it.
Thanks, Rita.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. So I was waiting because I wind up with a lot of overlaps also. I was making notes of who said what. But first I'll start with the numbers. We're starting the year with 187 students with IEPs. And we have 5 in the referral process. 3 of those are birth to 3, so those are the spots that we need to save because we have students rolling in all the time. And then we've had 1 new referral since the start of this school year. For 504s, we're at 145. And ESY ran in July, and we had 66 students attending, and we had 31 staff members supporting them. Over the summer, through the Pupil Services Office, we arrange a lot of some of the regular annual training. So we were doing CPR for people who work in the pre-K for the NIAC standards. And then we also had people having their safety care refresher in August. And we have 6 people who will have new safety care training starting next week. And then new this year is that any staff members that are not trained in safety care will have a safety care basics where they'll learn the de-escalation strategies. It's a 1-hour training that will be offered during a staff meeting at each of the buildings. In the special ed department in both the elementary school and the middle school, we've had 1 new staff member in each, but we've had a lot of people shifting their roles. So we've been doing a lot of collaboration and working together to make sure everyone is comfortable in their new roles. And the PASS Academy this year has 8 students, so we've increased since last year. And then just one update from the state is with the new legislation, a developmental delay now instead of ending at 5 years old will end at 8 years old. And then some really good news from the state is they have the Special Education and Expansion Development Grant. So that's going to allow us to hire a BCBA for 2 days. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, in the interest of time, I think the leadership team did an outstanding job hitting on so many great things that took place at the back to school. They are not obviously going to thank themselves, and I wanted to do that. They put in a tremendous amount of effort every year to make sure that their buildings, that their teams are ready for the return of our students, which is something all of us are always looking forward to. So thank you to the admin team. As they said, thank you to John and Jock for all the work they did with facilities and tech to make sure that our buildings and grounds were looking great, that the students and staff had technology up and ready when they came back. Just a quick timeline review. We met with new staff on August 21st. It's a great opportunity to set them up on platforms that they're going to use in the classroom, develop relationships, get to know our district a little bit better. We had our convocation on Friday the 22nd. As we mentioned, Ms. Gamache gave an inspirational speech as Teacher of the Year. Dawn joined us with some words from the board. I was able to try to make a connection to our district goals and our strategic plan in a new and interesting way this year. Then we dove right into PD, which was aligned and connected to the strategic plan and the goals in the buildings. And now hallways are buzzing. Students are back in classroom engaged in learning, and that's what it's all about. A lot of these updates and share-outs will be as part of the Eyes on Lebanon newspaper submission that will be going out so that everybody in the community can join in the celebration and know what's going on in our schools. All right, I'm going to segue now to the strategic plan presentation. So every year as we're developing goals, I don't want to lose sight of the long-term planning and goals. So last year was year 1 of our new strategic plan, LPS 2030. And I have highlighted the vision of we grow learners, we cultivate leaders, and we create legacies in our district. The strategic plan goals are going to be the same from now through 2030. What will change is the action steps within each of the buildings. So I'll use a similar presentation year over year just to keep you updated on where we're going. I won't go deeply into the goals tonight because in October, our leadership team and teacher leaders from each of the school will be coming to talk about their individual goals, how it connected to data that we have, and what their early data is telling us about where we'll go this year. So just some highlights of things that we've already done that connect with our goals in the We Grow Learners section, which is focused on instructional strategies, some initiatives that we have going. Obviously, there's been a lot of conversation and planning around the AI tools that we're making readily accessible to our students and our staff as part of last year's pilot program through the State Department of Education at the middle school. But this year, all of the schools are getting an opportunity to explore and utilize those platforms such as Magic School AI, Gemini, and Google Plus for educators, really looking to enhance our planning and support our feedback to students. Savvis MyView Literacy and iReady Mathematics with the MyPath. Those are curriculum components that we've adopted and were able to fully implement last year. There's some conversation about the WIN and X-Block periods getting ready to start up. Those are a great opportunity to promote student voice and choice while also providing necessary intervention and enrichment that's based on the data that we have from our diagnostic testing and performance in the classroom. We also did bring on board the Open SciEd curriculum. We're working on the building thinking classrooms and really trying to promote student ownership in all of these practices. Continuing on into the curriculum and instructional frameworks, Rita reports out frequently, and we've had several different groups come to the board and do presentations, but working hard to make sure that that curriculum is an ongoing live document that's updated and working to align it to our portrait of a graduate. The vertical articulation piece is so important as we're making these changes in certain grade levels. We need to know what our students are coming to us with and where they'll be going in the next year. So those conversations across grade level focused on the priority standards and cultural responsiveness is essential. And the formal curriculum audits and working through the advisory programs and making updates there are also key components of this curriculum and instructional framework process. Assessment practice kind of rounds out this section. We are at the infancy of doing some portfolio development with our learners. We really want to be able to have them see how they're progressing in their own academic career and be able to have some type of portfolio to demonstrate that. Promoting self-reflection tools with their day-to-day work, with their maybe bigger projects and goals that they have in their classrooms, and trying to weave in opportunity for peer feedback as well. We're looking at grading and how course leveling is handled, and I think one of our biggest efforts that we're starting to see the fruits of has been the increased access to the multi-tiered system of supports in all of our buildings for all of our learners, and all of that is based on data. Moving into the Cultivate Leader section, same strategic goal, and diving into the collaborative structures. We've worked hard to refine our professional learning communities, which involves strategic scheduling, but also using structures that are supported by data-driven decision-making and collaboration. Here's the MTSS, that multi-tiered system of support that we talked about. This falls into that collaborative structures. And then this year, something that we'll be diving into is trying to get into using video reflections, using the SIDME platform, trying to strengthen our instructional playbooks, and also getting into the opportunity to respond analysis with our students. Professional learning highlights, big effort around inclusive practices in the district. We identified on our kind of state level report card that the time with non-disabled peers was not where we wanted it to be or where we needed it to be. So we really promoted getting butts and seats, to steal Chad's terms, and really have that access to quality tier 1 instruction be a high priority for us in the district. We've also brought on project-based learning and really trying to weave in tech where we can and where it's appropriate. The Connecticut Science Center has come out for targeted PD, And we've tried to use this bite-sized PD where we're giving staff just enough information that they can really take and put it into use immediately with things with Socratic seminar, different talk moves that you can use as a teacher, deeper questioning strategies, and the infusion of artificial intelligence. Feedback and data has been very important. Rita talked about the instructional rounds. We've done a lot of in-district work, but we're looking maybe to bring in an outside facilitator who's an expert in this to help support us and really launch this across the district so that we don't just have pockets of excellence. We're giving everybody an opportunity to see it in action and try to promote that across the district. Talked about the climate and culture feedback tools that we have, specifically the student, parent, and staff surveys, trying to take those to heart, really reflect on what that means in our schools and improve practices based on that data. ION is our district warehouse where we put all student data. It's a great tool to be able to use when you're in team meetings and see how students have performed historically or how they're performing across different platforms. iReady provides a lot of that real-time data as well. And last, creating legacies. Strategic plan goal is the same. This starts getting into some bigger picture things here, so we start talking about budget and facilities. Really staying true to having a student-centered budget aligned to our district goal. That's really a needs-based budget. Looking forward to continuing that. We'll be getting into that process already in October. Continuing to focus on the capital improvements for safety and modernization of our buildings. We have a nice 5-year plan that's been communicated out, and we continue to try to chip away at that, prioritizing safety and security at all times. Tech and communication, really with a lens of equity here. We've had this one-to-one initiative, and we never want to let that go. We want to make sure everybody has the tech tools that they need to be able to meet our high learning expectations and standards. We're working to upgrade plans and protocols for implementation and evaluation of these tools in an ongoing way, and looking for stakeholder engagement through two-way communication is something that's very important to us as well. And I think this is a great slide to end on because this is what it's all about. It's about our community, about the sense of belonging, and these are some of the things that we've highlighted over the past year. The community-based pre-K with the new LGP that Rita and Jess have talked about, also with our school day pre-K, that's been a big step in a positive direction for our early elementary program. We've had elective fairs and different career pathways at the middle school and high school. One that we're really looking forward to get off the ground is the welding pathway. Our arts clubs and extracurricular offerings are continuing to grow and promoting student interest and connection in that way. And then our Choose Love, Second Step, and different presentations that we have to address social emotional learning. So I know that was a lot. You do have at your place setting kind of a summary of that. So you can take that with you. Please provide any feedback or questions that you have regarding that summary. I can also share this slideshow with you in your weekly update this Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
I do want to move to another celebration. We're talking a lot about back to school celebrations. Can you help me get it up, Jack? We, as you know, piloted the Savis My View literacy program. And then after piloting that, we decided we were going to formally adopt that, and we were able to work with our students and staff last year with this program. And Rita has done a great job of talking about the ongoing professional learning and the connection that we've had with Savis. The partnership has been really strong. The relationship has been really positive, but that just hasn't been the way we feel. They really have shared with us that our staff has done an amazing job diving into this new learning, implementing the new program. So they actually put out something called a Savis success story and highlighted our district. So it's about a 7 or 8 minute video, but I felt it was something that the community needed to have an opportunity to hear, and I wanted you to see firsthand. Jacques, it's not up. There you go. Thank you.
So out in Lebanon, Connecticut, we are a rural district, for sure a rural town that really focuses on the preservation of farmland. It's a beautiful town. It has a lot of history too.
There's not a lot of businesses at all. There's one gas station, there's one stoplight, so it's very quiet and peaceful.
The Lebanon Public Schools has close to 1,000 students, but what makes it unique is that it's one elementary school, one middle school, and one high school.
Lebanon is a gem. The best thing about the district is that the staff at the elementary school is really a family. We really respect each other, and it's a collaborative feel in our district, and so that is huge. It's a gift to work there. The state mandated the change to the Science of Reading Approved program.
There are a lot of districts that were pushing back because they liked what they had, but we were in a kind of the perfect situation where we needed something.
We had a homegrown curriculum, which your blood, sweat, and tears goes into that, right? Like creating those units and making sure that it's fun for the kids, but as you know, that presents other challenges.
There wasn't a lot of continuity from grade to grade and even from teacher to teacher. So what would happen is you would go to one teacher and have an experience and a completely different experience in another teacher in the same grade. So from the lens of the administration, that was a problem.
And so on top of that, there was no phonics curriculum whatsoever. Teachers were like, we are learning about the science of reading, and we know that our instruction is not supporting the science of reading.
I think we saw the gaps in student learning from year after year, and we wanted to address them, but we were never all on the same page of the best way to do that. And so I think we were all just ready to have something that unified us all.
As a pilot team, we had a representative from every grade, kindergarten through 4th.
Our first meeting, we had talked about what are the things we value within our classrooms, within our school, that we are really looking for when it comes to a curriculum. We were definitely looking for something that was going to be realistic in implementation and had a clear and consistent scope and sequence.
We wanted more phonics. I wanted it to be systematic and explicit. I wanted more vocabulary instruction because that was missing. I wanted engaging text.
And then the other really big thing was the professional development. Our school really values in-person professional development.
From there, we ended up building a rubric on those things that were really important to all of us.
We looked through the materials, and most of us decided we wanted to pilot Savvis because we thought it seemed like the best out of the ones we had looked at.
We started that process in the summer. We had Becca come and get the initiation, professional development, and then they went right into it. The professional development through Savvis was incredible. Not just the ones that came in and coached us along the way, but also there were some keynote speakers who came in our area that, of course, Greer was able to get us connected with, and we'd attend those too as a team.
Anytime you have a big change, you need to have certain things in place in order to make it successful. So one of those things is constant communication. So we made sure that with our pilot team, we met frequently, at least once a month. The pilot team members spent a lot of time talking with their teammates and filling them in on what is going on, or like, we're going to be delivering this to our team. So whichever we pick, we need to make sure that it's something that everybody is excited about.
And I can honestly say every person on that pilot team was excited to embrace this. Truly, it was a wonderful experience.
Some of us had piloted 2 programs, some of us piloted only Savvis, and we talked about the pros and cons, what were the strengths and what were the, drawbacks to the different ones, and we all agreed that we thought Savvis was the best.
Another key factor choosing my view too was the extensive professional development that was going to be offered, because we knew that we needed to provide that space of time to wrap their heads around the new program. What was really, really important and key for me as a building leader too was how the kids responded to the stories and how the kids responded to the program. So when I went down to the cafeteria and heard kids talk about the stories, I was sold.
We're going to be hopefully using this program for quite a long time. So the fact that there's just limitless amounts of materials and things that you can do with this program. You're picking and choosing the activities that you want to do, the things that you want to use, You're teaching them the way you want to teach them, right? It's just the vehicle, but you're still the driver.
I think what we did really well and what helped it be so successful was just moving slowly. One thing that we liked about Savvis was that there were a lot of components, and we could see this being a program that would be a multi-year rollout, that we could build year after year, adding more.
Incorporating a new program it's scary. It's a huge undertaking, and as teachers, right, we always want to be so comfortable with our practice. And so I think by incorporating those phases, it takes the pressure off of teachers. So that helped tremendously.
We've continued with our pilot team meetings once a month. So even though like our pilot year was technically over, we still had those teachers that they were kind of in year 2 of this. So they were able to help lead their team and provide us feedback from their team.
We knew that they needed time to visit each other and see successes, people who were doing things. So we made sure that once a week they have common planning time, and then the professional development through Savvis. We committed to a lot of professional development and was worth every penny.
So if we had professional development with Becca, following that, I would visit classrooms and see, okay, what new learning did they actually implement? And then I would send out what I call the My View Minute to highlight those things. So other teachers would see, oh wow, Mrs. So-and-so is trying this, I'm going to try it too. And so it was just a constant like circling back and making sure the teachers had everything that they needed and just going slow. Our scores are the best that they've been since I've been in the district for 4 years. So one of our diagnostics, everybody was well above where they needed to be by the end of the year. The data is definitely speaking for itself.
But then there's just the real part, the parents sharing the successes and stories that their kids are having at home and sharings. And then walking into the classrooms and the students are excited about what they're learning and ready to share and read aloud and do a close read, and the vocabulary, the richness. So even just going into the classrooms, you can see such a difference from what it was a year ago.
Students aren't just reading a book, they are interacting with the text. The discourse about the text is amazing. Like you see in every class, all of the kids having dialogue with each other.
What's really important for me is that I continue to hear kids talk about the stories. They're going to the bus stops and they're talking about this. Did you read that story, Liz? And talk about how much they loved it and the characters. For me, again, that was the most important piece.
And because they're working on comprehension, they really are understanding what reading is all about. So it was just like this magical thing that was taking place everywhere in the classroom. Just all of it interweaving with each other so beautifully.
So I wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to see that, and I wanted to make sure that we had this platform to thank Jess and Rita for their leadership and the teachers. I'm just so proud of the teachers. I think that, as it was highlighted in that success story, change is not easy, and teaching is such a personal practice and something that they do pour their hearts into. And when we come along as an administrative team and let them know that a change is needed, you could get resistance, and they didn't. They really accepted the change. They embraced the change. They worked extremely hard and collaboratively to make this happen. Obviously we are thrilled to see diagnostic test scores improve. That's important. Love of reading is what it's about, right? Love of learning is what it's about, and hopefully this program, through the teaching and through our leadership, is going to be something that kind of catapults them in that direction moving into middle and high school. And we've talked about that too when we've undertaken new initiatives, that there's a time period that you typically have to wait to see some of those changes. And we are seeing some of that with our implementation of iReady Math. We're seeing it with the implementation of Savvis. So I think we're on a positive trajectory. And again, thank you to Jess and Rita and the entire elementary school community.
Thank you. Any questions for the report of the superintendent? Thank you very much. Finance report.
Hey, Martha.
Martha.
Look at us color coordinated and everything.
Yeah.
I could start us off, and then obviously if you have questions, and Martha can chime in. So in your packet, the report that Martha puts together for you, for the first time in a while that I can remember, our spending is a little bit ahead of historical comparison. So when you look at that 5-year amount, I know it's extremely early on, but Martha, right away, I was able to ask her a question. She was able to get me the data, just like she always does. We've spent about $32,000 more in repair and maintenance as compared to this time last year. M&J contract increased $37,000 as part of the year-over-year expense, and that's something that we encumber right at the beginning of the year. The health insurance increase is up $36,000 as compared to the same time last year. And then in capital outlay and building repairs, John has been very busy trying to proactively address issues, and we've spent $11,000 more there. So hopefully this spending will kind of level off, and ultimately those 5-year comparisons will start to line up. But I figured I would get ahead of that potential question and wanting to know why we've spent more to this point in the year. Any questions for me or Martha after that brief explanation?
Just one quick one. I see that we're over about 3,000 in workbooks and about 6,000 in telephone. It looks like just due to what's encumbered. Just kind of curious as to, I guess, why? Did we not budget enough? Did we, or they just, like in the workbooks, that they just order more than?
I'll address the telephone first.
Sure.
That's actually a number I'm looking at. I think when we did the encumbrance, we based it on some data previous to when all the changes were made.
Gotcha.
So that actually is going to be adjusted down, because there have been a lot of changes that happened last year with cleaning up a lot of the phone lines and stuff.
And that's kind of why I asked, because I knew that, yeah.
With the workbooks, there are some instances where things are coming in at higher prices, and instead of moving budget money around all the time, it's better to see a clear line of where you're over, so in the future you can better plan.
Agreed. Thank you.
And we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you for bringing that up. We'll talk about that, and maybe we could report out specifically.
Yeah, no sweat. I just was curious. Thank you.
Other questions or comments on 2025-2026 budget?
And just quickly moving on to non-lapsing. Right now, our non-lapsing projected balance after all the in-progress projects are accounted for is about $34,000. We have not fully been audited to get our final number for the 24-25 budget. So if there is any surplus there, I'd be moving that into the non-lapsing account. But it was a year where we were very close, so I don't see any big difference being made to that non-lapsing account. Then I think you will see in the Friday update that I sent to you, I've had individual meetings with John, Jacques, and Scott to go over the facilities, technology, and athletic capital spending plan. Jacques is already well underway. July 1 came, and there's a lot of things we needed to do over the summer, so he's put a pretty significant dent in that technology capital. John and I had met and prioritized some projects because there were a significant number of projects on that list that could not be done given the $70,000 that he had to work with. And I'm meeting with Scott tomorrow to have that conversation about athletics. Athletics is an interesting account because we did not get to spend too much last year because we were only given 30, and some of the projects are well above that threshold. So now that we have some left over from last year, plus this year, we might be able to take on one of the bigger projects. So we'll have that conversation tomorrow.
Any questions, comments?
Question. In Nicole's report about facilities, you talked about replacing bleachers, and I think it's on here as maintenance of a repair. Didn't we do repairs for them already?
We did not do any repairs to bleachers. Not recently.
There's in the capital budget, in the planning, there's $5,000 set aside each year to try and do some repairs as needed. And the budget that was presented, that the board voted on for capital projects for 25, 26 included that 5,000, for this year. So that's why it's on there. It's not that we've done anything or have immediate plans to do anything, it's just a placeholder that's been on the capital budget.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Finance report. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now we will move on to new business, which is the discussion of the accusation of board member conduct. And for this agenda item, because the accusations are against me, I will be recusing myself from presiding over the discussion. Vice Chair Keane will assume as chair for the discussion. Earlier I had mentioned board policy. It's, if you'd like to reference it, it's 9010(2.b, which allows me the right to have the discussion in open session, which I am exercising. So unless you would prefer another board member to lead the meeting based on your task of looking into the matter, I will turn the floor over to you.
Sure. Just a couple of things before I talk a bit about the accusation. One, obviously this is again with one board member making an accusation against another. So with that said, I would just ask that while it's certainly a topic that's very close to home for at least two of these folks, I would ask for decorum on everybody's part, please. Secondly, this has absolutely zero to do with our superintendent, the administration. It's solely within the purview of this board. So, that being said, since, do you want me to just to say that, talk about the accusation and then you, okay. So it was brought forward, Sherry Masterson brought forward an accusation of, the specific term that was used was manipulation, or manipulated, an email, and this one specifically revolved around the meeting, our last month's regular meeting. So the discussion came about that Sherry said that she had sent an email 3 hours prior to the fact that she was going to be absent to both the superintendent and the board chair. Board chair responded that that was incorrect, that they, and I'm sorry, I didn't have all my notes ready for tonight because I thought we were going to do this next month, but I'll do the best I can, so forgive me if I'm off just a little bit.
And we can correct, of course.
Yes, of course. But the accusation was, Sherry had stated that she had sent it 3 hours earlier. So I had asked a series of questions of our director of IT. And specifically, as part of my investigation, just to understand, exactly what was received when did the email server, when did it come in from Sherry to both the superintendent and the board chair. So I had asked the director of information technology for any and all emails from Sherry Masterson to any Board of Education member or member of the administrative staff, specifically from October 12th, 2025, date of our regular August 2025 board meeting, between the hours of 1200, so noon, and 2000 hours, 8 p.m.
August?
You mean August?
What did I say?
August.
Again.
I thought you said August.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
Okay, so sorry, there must be a theme there somewhere because I think you started this.
I'm married.
So,
I heard
the second question, if possible, I asked the Director of Information Technology to provide the following information. What time did the Lebanon email client receive the incoming email? What time was the email opened by a recipient if our system allowed or had that capability? Who within the district has the authority to edit or change an official Board of Education recording, meaning like what's going on tonight, our normal recording that gets uploaded to YouTube. Has there been any editing done in calendar year 2025 thus far? If so, why? And then who within the district has the administrative authority for the district email client? So the answers that came back was the director of IT sent me the email that was in question. It was in fact received when the board chair said it was. They received it at 7:05 p.m. And again, if I'm off just a little bit, I can look for the email. But it was received at 7:05 p.m. It was not. There was no indication that it was sent 3 hours earlier. The system that the district uses, which is called Google Vault, is showing that the email was sent by Sherry and received by Andy and Dawn, so the superintendent and the board chair, on August 12th, 2025 at 7:05 p.m. What time was the email open? Unfortunately, Google Vault does not provide any way to see what time the email was open. I asked about the recordings of our meetings. The meetings is actually live streamed using a program called vMix, which pushes the stream automatically to YouTube. When the streaming is ended, YouTube stores the stream as a video on our board account to YouTube. And then who has the district, in the district, to edit or change a board recording, and has that been done? So both technicians, IT technicians, and the IT director have access to the YouTube account, but have never edited a Board of Education meeting. And then who within the district has the admin authority for district email client? Both IT technicians and the director of IT have access to the district email client, Google Mail, but they utilize and we utilize Google Vault for all freedom of information requests.
Can you please explain why you asked about recordings?
Yeah, of course. It was, Sherry had brought forward, and this was not in this most recent, was it in the most recent? Okay, time all runs together for me. That she felt that there was either manipulation or the videos were edited by the board chair, or, I guess a member of the board, but these videos are pushed directly to YouTube. There's no, so they come from what happens tonight and is just automatically pushed. So with that, would you like to talk any more about the accusation?
No, I think you covered it from my end.
Okay. Rachel?
Is there, so at my work, sometimes we send an email and there's a delay, like the person next to me, I can send it, and then it could be 10 minutes later. So do we, because of, I'm assuming it was sent from board email to board email, is there like a delay? Do we know of a delay? Just to
There was
very clear.
It's all we know is when it was received. So Sherry made the statement that she had sent it 3 hours earlier. All I can tell you is it was received at 19:05 at 7:05 p.m. Nicole.
What was the nature of the email? Why is this so serious?
Sherry, if you can take a few minutes and just kind of explain that.
Sure. First of all, to address the difference in the time, Dawn sent me a screenshot of the email she received, and I sent her a screenshot of the email I sent. And there was a almost 3.5 hour discrepancy between the two.
Point of order. That is incorrect information.
Okay, over 3 hours.
You did not send a screenshot, you forwarded the message. There's a difference between a screenshot that captures, so for example, mine was taken from my phone of my email to show the timestamp. This was a forwarded email, which
The actual email that I
the
sent
actual
you.
email, but because it is the embedded in the body of the email, the time can be manipulated.
Well, the message I sent you had a timestamp on it, almost 3.
And Andy and Brian were on it.
Yeah,
So that was the discrepancy from my point of view, and I remember sending it to you. And it was in regard to my having to not attend the meeting because of a sudden emergency. And I worked within those almost 3.5 hours, getting the emergency information and then getting the email to you. That's all the time I had to work with to let you know that I would not be able to attend. But it went much deeper than that because you suddenly canceled the meeting, and it's on tape that someone sent you the information just 15 minutes ago, and that's why you had to cancel the meeting, even though you had a quorum.
Sherry, I'm going to stop you there for just 1 second. So the past practice of this board was that six members determined a quorum.
According to what? What bylaw?
He's just saying past practice.
If you,
Can you also clarify, did I make that decision on my own?
no, you did not. I'm getting there.
Thank you.
So the past practice, I didn't say bylaw. I said past practice of this board, it was 6 members. So the board chair snagged me, the board chair, and the previous board chair to go out and talk about this really quickly, because we had about 10 minutes before the meeting started, or the meeting was supposed to start. It was determined that I felt very strongly that it was not, that we did not have a quorum. It was my understanding that it was half the board plus 1, which would have been 5.5, which, you'd have half a person, you round up to 6.
That's not what the town charter says for commissions and boards.
Sherry, we had a discussion with, very little time left. And it was decided that rather than perhaps hold an illegal meeting, we would cancel the meeting. And so that's what the decision was. Well within this board's purview. There was nothing, no one mentioned that this person, no names were mentioned.
No names, no.
They were not mentioned during the course of that. So we erred on the side of caution, which I can tell you that is not privileged. We did have a follow-up conversation with our board attorney who stated that given the limited information we had at the time and the limited amount of time, they would always have us rather err on the side of caution with virtually any decision.
What was the limited information? What was the caution based on? That has been my...
The caution was based on the fact that I, and ultimately we, didn't believe we had a quorum.
Well, there is a meeting. I did go back and check. I don't have that paper with me, my notes, but there is a meeting within, I would say, this summer or spring, where we had 5 members, and the meeting was held, and there was voting done at that meeting. So you have operated on a quorum of 5.
I don't believe, Sherry.
I can get that to you.
Okay.
I don't have that right now.
But we're not talking about a previous meeting. This is the information, and I would like you to please get me that information.
I will definitely do that.
I appreciate it. But we're talking about this one. And again, we erred on the side of caution, which is well within our right. Our board attorney stated that, and like with most things, that attorneys are risk adverse. They always wish that, any of their boards err on the side of caution as well. So we did. And we ended up holding, you know, as you know, a special meeting that following week. Alexis, did you have a?
Did not.
No, okay, I'm sorry.
Can I continue? So, we're gonna spend $20,000 on lawyer fees over a meeting that was canceled? That's what the whole beef is about a meeting that's canceled?
Well, first, I didn't say that we were gonna spend $20,000 on
No,
lawyers'
but
fees
just
over a canceled
any
meeting.
kind of lawyer's fee over this?
No, it's, well, in theory, yes. But any monies that have been spent thus far were based solely on the accusation. And I take that seriously, very seriously. And I don't take that lightly.
What was the meeting? Just a regular Board of Ed meeting?
It was our regular, last month's Board of Ed meeting that we ended up canceling and then having a special meeting the following week.
And how many members were missing from that meeting? I know I was.
4.
4, so you only had 5 people. So what's the problem?
We canceled it because we did not feel that we had a quorum.
Correct.
As it turns out,
did.
we did have a quorum.
You did, according to Robert's rules and according to the town charter.
Okay.
But they just used their best judgment.
So Sherry, again, we felt, this was a decision, and I see you, Don. This was a decision that was made at the time because we did not feel, I felt very, very strongly, based on information, you know, I had read, God only knows when, but some CAVE document that was, you know, half plus 1, and that's what stuck in my head. So for me, I absolutely did not want to run an illegal meeting. It was just, it was easier to, well, not easier, we had folks here, but it was more prudent for us to cancel it than it was to
It's just hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that you didn't know what a quorum was when we in fact had a quorum, according to Robert's rules and the town charter.
So Sherry, I don't profess, Sherry, I do not profess to be a town charter nor Robert's Rules of Order expert. Thank you for that. What I do profess to know is that we were left with a limited amount of time and we made a decision. We followed up afterwards the following morning with our board attorney who agreed with our decision. Now, Dawn, you had.
The reason why we're talking about this is because I have been accused of manipulating public documents.
What documents?
So, an email, timestamp, based on this particular meeting, but also a previous meeting, video recording, and potentially meeting minutes of that particular meeting. It's not only about this particular meeting.
I would like to address that as well. We had members from the community attending that very same meeting. I made a motion, Dawn Jacks seconded it, and one person from the audience said, you can't have 2 motions on the floor at the same time. Because I believe Sarah had started a motion. I'd have to go back and check my notes again.
But Sherry, what did you feel that was manipulated?
The fact that members of the audience heard me make the motion, heard Dawn second it, and when I wrote to Dawn and said, why wasn't my motion in the transcript and in the video on YouTube, there's nothing there on YouTube with me saying the motion or Dawn seconding it. But there is, in that video, the person saying, you can't have 2 motions at the same time, meaning Sarah's and mine at the same time. So it was acknowledged from the audience and from that comment that there were 2 motions on the floor at the same time, one of which was mine, but yet there is nothing in the recording of me speaking that motion or Dawn seconding it, and nothing in the transcript, because of course the transcript is going to follow the video.
Certainly.
Now, I'd like to also say that when I was teaching, my students were part of their projects involved video recording and editing. And when you edit a video, of course, the transcript is going to be edited simultaneously.
Correct. So
And
Sherry,
that was Dawn's answer. It's not in the, Dawn answered me by saying you did not make that motion and Dawn did not second it, and
Okay,
it's not
so
in the
Sherry,
transcript.
what you're suggesting is collusion.
What I'm suggesting is what I
No, Sherry.
witnessed.
Stop.
said,
Please.
that other people witnessed is not.
It is not, the video recording was not manipulated.
Then why isn't?
Maybe you said it wrong. Maybe you said the motion wrong. I say it wrong
stop,
all the
stop.
time.
Wouldn't it be picked up in the video?
How?
Please.
Because it's part
You
of
have a loud
our,
voice.
it's part of our meeting. Whatever is said in the meeting is recorded.
It is, and clearly, you know, Sherry, all I can say is perhaps you were mistaken. I don't know. But it was not picked up on the recording, and the recording was not manipulated. Rachel.
I just want to say, Sherry, and like maybe you were mistaken, or maybe what they were responding to was something else, because for someone to manipulate the YouTube, it wouldn't just be Dawn. It would have to be IT staff to get that to her, to manipulate it, to then post it back on YouTube, and it would have to like disappear. And people also watch it live, right? People
Yeah.
are watching it live. So they would, there would be a discrepancy from the original to before. I mean, there's whenever you manipulate anything, there's always a trace. Always a trace. You edit a photo, you change an email, the system can always go back and trace it.
There was no record.
Always
There was no
have.
record of that. Sarah?
I was just gonna also include, we have Hannah here who's taking minutes, recording every meeting on her own personal device. So what you're accusing her of would have to be threefold. And I do just want to caution the accusations that are made. We are all professionals sitting at this table with the best interest of Lebanon students. I don't want one dime of attorney fees going to this nonsense.
I don't either. I don't either.
But can I finish my thought? However, if I were in Dawn's shoes right now, and I've sat in that chair for a long time, it would affect my my work. It would, if somebody was accusing me of doing these things and I couldn't defend myself, that would affect me professionally, as I'm sure it probably would affect Dawn, and it would have affected you. I think before we say these things, we have to make sure that they are accurate. And Brian, thank you for doing the investigation that you've been doing. By having this discussion, I did not mean to step on your toes or think that you weren't doing a job that you've been given. Thank you for understanding that.
Not at all.
I don't want our money going in the attorney's hands if they can be going
And we'll
what
get
it's used
there
for.
in just a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing about Hannah. She also records things. It's what we pay her for, to be present as well as have a tape recording and then submit the minutes, which we all look over and approve, and then they were approved at the next meeting, I believe.
Correct.
Since we're looking at the facts, I tried to find the meeting that Sherry's talking about. We did have a meeting with 5, and that was June 13th. Lebanon Board of Education special meeting when we reinstated the teachers. It's a special meeting, so I don't know if that's different, rule.
Before graduation.
Yeah.
Oh, that one,
5:30.
absolutely. Yeah, there were 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the special, you're absolutely right.
I'd like to say something. According to Robert's rules and the town charter, the only 2 reasons you can technically or legally cancel a meeting is if there is no quorum or if there's an emergency situation that affects the people attending, such as a fire or some sort of threat. And I asked Dawn, why did she cancel the meeting? And I was especially, irritated by the fact that she mentioned that one member of the board only gave me 15 minutes or 5 minutes notice. And that's why we have to end the meeting. I took offense to that. You had a quorum, there was no emergency. I did my best in notifying you in what I believe was almost 3.5 hours notice, which was the only time frame I had to work within to notify you. I didn't feel that you're alluding to the fact that one board member only gave you 5 minutes and you don't have a quorum and you can't have the meeting. And all those people were there. There were people that were going to be recognized. And then I get an email from Sarah saying how never have we had to cancel a meeting. and how disrespectful it was of me, and it was scathing, and I thought unfair, because I had done what I thought the best I could do to notify Dawn I could not attend. And there was a quorum, and there was no emergency, and why were you dumping all of this on me?
So Sherry, I thank you for kind of, I guess, closing that up. I will just mention to you one more time. We made a decision on the regular, it was a regular board meeting. We did not feel we had a quorum. We erred on the side of caution. I know that you continue to say that that's not legal. It is legal.
Well, you did.
It is legal.
June 13.
A special meeting, yes. We had 5 members for that special meeting, that's correct. Yep. For this regular board meeting, we felt.
A quorum is a quorum.
Thank you for that. You stated that it wasn't legal. It was legal, Sherry. So that, you can end that right now, okay?
What did I state was not
You said that we held, and it likely wasn't legal, that we canceled it. We could only cancel for 2 reasons, no quorum or emergency.
Okay.
We felt we didn't have a quorum. Again, the board attorney agreed with our decision based on the facts that we had. Now, I'm gonna move this forward. I'm sorry, Rachel, go ahead.
I'm kind of on your same line. I just want to say that we are all on this board together, and I hope that we respect each other. And I know that you're offended. I know that Dawn's offended, and I'm sure now Sarah is. Okay. So, but like, what's the end result? Like, what are we trying to get out of this? I'm going to ask Dawn and you, Sherry, like, do we want this to go this far?
I'm gonna tell
an
you
attorney,
what we're gonna
or can we just say everyone has aired their grievances and we vote on if this is going to proceed or not?
Yeah, don't take away my thunder.
Sorry. Sorry.
Based on the information that I had and the information that I received back from information technology, there was no manipulation. Nothing was touched. All files, all emails were original to the district that came into the server and that were uploaded to the cloud, as far as, because it's live streamed and then YouTube does its thing. So I found no evidence of manipulation. I found no evidence that there was collusion. So that, my suggestion would be that I am going to suggest that someone make a motion that either to continue to have, attorneys investigate this, or that this is ended as of, that we end this issue as of tonight. So I need a motion, one way or another.
You can't, this is new business, it's not an action item at this moment in time.
Okay,
Can we have
okay, we need
Or
to
you can
amend.
do a pulse.
Can I
end the agenda?
Can I make a motion to amend the agenda to add an action item for the board to vote on dismissing, moving forward with the attorneys at the next board meeting regarding the allegations presented to the board chair?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to add an agenda item.
Action item.
Action
Action item, I'm sorry. An action item. Are there any other comments?
Number 8.
Okay, action item number 8. Vote, all in favor? And that is unanimous.
Are you turning the floor back to me for?
Back to you to our regularly scheduled program.
Thank you. All right, act on letter of resignation. Is there a motion to approve the letter of resignation?
It's a motion to approve the letter of resignation with regret.
And then I'll second.
All right, motion by Nicole, second by Janelle. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand, and that is unanimous.
I make a motion to act on the second reading for policy updates 2001, 4020, 4007, 4010, and 5008.
Second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Nicole. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous. Act on snow and ice control contract extension. We have a document in front of us.
Is it exactly the same?
It was a,
The terms of the contract, except the money,
it was a 3% increase.
which puts us below, a little bit what the town had budgeted for this service.
So then what happens?
Even under budget,
Yeah.
slightly.
But the town still pays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't take us.
Motion to approve the snow and ice control contract extension.
Second.
Motion by Nicole, seconded by Sarah. Any discussion?
Just information purposes, how many times can we extend it before we have to go back out?
Good question.
I don't know that there's any cap on the extension. I can look into that.
I'm just curious if, like, if we're satisfied, it makes sense, but I don't know if there's some, like, where we have to go back out at a certain time frame, and each contract is only allowed to be extended.
Yeah,
I don't
I
remember.
thought this one, I'm sorry, John, I thought this one, we had another option for a 1 year, right, for this one?
I believe we did.
That's, because that's, I'm fairly certain, Alexis, as long as we have the option years, we can, but Andy will probably.
Yeah,
do a little
the
more
only
on that.
history that I have is a previous contractor. The contract was specifically written for 3 years with the option of 1 year extensions for 2 after that. But I don't know if there is some legislative requirement that after a certain number of years you have to go back out to bid. I'm just going back to our purchasing policy and whatnot. If this is something that we feel is going to be more costly going out to bid, this is something, that we can make the decision on, but I definitely will do a little research.
I think it was just, I remember that we started late 1 year, and then it just, obviously having 1 year extensions is our best interest, because we're not locked into something that's 3. But I just remember that we've always had, and this is again, more for information purposes for the people who are gonna be on the board later when, we're not here, just for the experience piece. I know that it's a big contract, it's a lot of money, and those are just some of the things that we were constantly thinking about getting stuck in and or not having options and going out too late, and then you're forced to pay a bigger chunk of dollars because now you're between a rock and a
Snowpile.
snowpile, yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous. Hannah, any chance you typed
Do your best.
I can give
Rachel's,
you.
or I can ask her to try to repeat it.
This.
I didn't type it.
Okay, so what I have is to amend the agenda to add an action item for the board to vote on dismissing or moving forward with discussion about the accusations against the board chair.
I thought there were attorneys in there involved, attorney.
I think I was just saying dismissing, moving forward with
Oh,
the
dismissing,
attorneys.
moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And closing the issue.
Okay. And for BOE to vote on dismissing, moving forward.
I think it needs to be specific to what we're dismissing.
Go ahead, Alexis.
Just a question, I know we added the item, so do we have the opportunity now to restate?
Yes.
Okay, so now you can actually,
You can state the
you
motion.
can state your motion and we can repeat it to make sure that Hannah has it correctly, because I think the first one was just the big picture of adding it to the agenda.
As an action item,
Correct.
right. So does it have to be specific whether it is one way or the other?
Yes.
It doesn't
No, we just have to
either
be able
or.
to vote.
Okay.
it could be as simple as act on accusations of.
So I will make a motion.
Yes,
I would- you started out by
That's true.
saying dismissing the accusations and then nulling the need for an attorney is really what you were saying.
So I'll
You
make a
just kind of,
motion.
you kind of got your plane all around. That's really just the
Trying to
two,
cover everything.
that sounds like the two things that you were trying to get to.
So dismissing the accusations of the, made against the board chair and nulling the need to, move forward with the attorneys regarding this matter.
Second?
Okay, motion by Rachel, second by Nicole. Any further discussion?
I'm sorry, just for clarity, can you read the acts, what you have?
To act on dismissing the accusations made against the board chair and nulling the need to move forward with the attorneys regarding this matter.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Oh, I'm sorry.
I feel like the way it's worded, it sounds like there's a formal, like legal accusation, rather than like a.
Like an email?
Email? Yeah, does anyone else know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a formal accusation?
Well, Brian was involved, so it's
It was
pretty
a
formal.
written accusation.
Other
We
discussion?
spent attorney dollars on it.
Mhm. Any other discussion? So again, the motion is to dismiss the accusations made against the board chair and nulling the need to move forward with attorneys regarding this matter. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous. Okay. Items for next agenda.
We usually do the presentation as for the
And please, if you are planning on, I know we're gonna have to start having finance meetings constantly, but if your subcommittee needs to have a meeting, please email as soon, yeah, we've got that planned, please email as soon as possible.
This will be a limited time next month.
There was just a question, maybe you could probably just address it, if you could, in your weekly update. One of the student reps mentioned 6 days to add drop.
Oh, yeah.
I was just wondering about that.
That's a good question.
What's the reason?
10 to
behind it?
6.
Yeah, it used to be 10, now it's 6. And I think they said they were gonna talk about it next week and maybe with the schedule, but.
It sounded more like a
Address that.
survey with the students.
Yeah.
What prompted the process, Jean?
No.
Alexis?
Real quick, Andy, I know in the past we've received that presentation ahead of time, but we can still get that ahead of time so that we have time to just absorb and ask some questions ahead of time. I think sometimes if we're even able to email them in, it helps.
Digest.
Yeah, the team is almost done already,
Oh,
so we
Oh,
should
that's
have.
awesome.
It's just really helpful to get it ahead of time.
Yeah, that's great.
And of course, any request for agenda items sent to the Governance Committee. You meet 1 week before our board meeting
You do.
to determine the agenda. Awesome. We will adjourn at 9:33.
Thank you.
Thank you.